We have an official NHL trade to announce between the Dallas Stars and the Buffalo Sabres. We'll discuss the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have an NHL trade to discuss. Our first one in some time. There's been lots of rumors when things are going to be heating up here soon in the next couple of weeks. But for right now, we have an official NHL trade. The Dallas Stars are sending goaltender Ben Bishop and a 2022 7th round pick over to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for future considerations. Of course, we know that Ben Bishop is not going to be playing in the NHL anymore. He tried to make a comeback this year, but he's had some problems with his knees, and he just was not able to complete the comeback. So that contract is essentially, a long-term injury reserve scenario. That's where he spent this past year. So this trade accomplishes a couple of things here. He's making like $4.9 million, so that gets it off the Dallas Stars books and gets them out of LTIR. Obviously, when you have to use that, you're not accruing cap space throughout the season. And when you're not accruing cap space like that, it makes it difficult to be able to make trades at the deadline and add that time of year. So obviously most teams would prefer not to be on LTI. So obviously that helps them get that off the books, which is good for them. Of course, they pay a 7th round pick as well to the Sabres for taking it off their hands. And in Buffalo's case, they had so many expiring contracts this year that they have oodles and oodles and oodles of cap space. So it's a couple of things here. One, it gets them an extra draft pick, even though it's a late 7th round pick. It's a pick they didn't have before for taking a contract for 1 year that they can afford to do, and it gets them closer to the salary cap floor. Right now, they have so much cap space that they were well below. I believe it was somewhere around 18 million or something under the salary cap floor. So they're going to spend more money. They have no choice, but they have to sign players because they have so many expiring contracts. They couldn't even field a normal team right now until they get their contracts sorted out for next year and beyond. But it gets them closer to the floor, and because of this contract, with them not necessarily going to have to go on LTI, so that means that they can spend less elsewhere. So to me, for a team acquiring a contract like that, says that you want to cut back on your total expenses. But at the same time, we know the Sabres have made some good progress the last few years. And they also do have, though, another thing to them. It's not so much that they're being cheap and wanting to cut back. That could be a little bit, but they have a lot of really good young players that are not making a lot of money yet. And of course, they want to be able to give them opportunities to play on the roster. And if you have a lot of those guys on the roster, well, that's not going to take up a lot of space. They have to get some money on there to make sure you're at least above where you're supposed to be. So it gets the Sabres closer to the floor. It gets an extra pick for Buffalo for, we use the term weaponizing your cap space, but this is really, it's a 7th round pick. It's not really weaponizing it, but it's just something, and it's an extra asset you didn't have before, and it helps Dallas by getting it off the book so they can hopefully try to be more competitive and not have to worry about being an LTI later in the year. So pretty simple trade, not really what you'd call a blockbuster by any means, but hey, a trade is a trade. It has an impact on each side. There's really no winner in this case. I think both sides win for various different reasons. And that's that. So that's my take on the scenario. I'd love to know what yours is. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and we will go from there. Speaking of goaltending, though, I would like to know your thoughts as well. Who's going to play goal for the Sabres this coming year? Will Craig Anderson come back, or will he retire? Will they go in a different direction? Will we see a full season of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, or do they need a more experienced goaltender? I'd love to know your thoughts. It's certainly, even though Ben Bishop's not going to play, just having another experienced goalie go to the Sabres as a roster spot just kind of got me thinking about the scenario. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with the latest news, rumors, and analysis on all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.